So we're back in Europe again, but can I pull this whole thing off without using sauerkraut? And welcome back to Cliffieland. This is week in country number 156 on our second attempt of cooking the food of every single country in the world. And tonight we're up to the nation of Slovakia. Slovakia, located in the heart of Central Europe, and its food is very typical of that of Central Europe. It varies from region to region within the country, but is heavily influenced by the food of its neighbors, those being Austria, Hungary, Czechia, Poland, and Ukraine. And you're going to find a lot of dishes involving pork and wheat and flour and eggs and lots of dairy and sauerkraut. But there lies one of the problems, because when we started this whole project years ago, I gave the better half the option of vetoing exactly one food item for the entire world, and he chose sauerkraut, which made it pretty difficult to be able to cook the countries of this particular region. But we found a way. So one item you'll find on any Slovakian menu, which is sort of the national dish, is an offering that involves potato dough drop dumplings with soft sheep's milk cheese. And unfortunately we're not doing that one because I wasn't able to do it before, and I knew I'd never be able to find that cheese here, so we'd have to move on to other options. So let's take a look and see how things went when we tried this whole thing last time. Well, 4 years ago on the Global Cooking Challenge, like I said, I did have that one little roadblock, but I did manage to find a way around it. I managed to cook and stream across 2 nights, and on the first night I made potato pancakes, which were really delicious, and if you've been watching along, you know that I've managed to screw them up before, but this time with this particular recipe, I found the secret to making them really good, so I'm looking forward to doing that again. And I served that one with a pork stir-fry, which was very tasty, delicious, but unfortunately we're not doing that one tonight, because what we're doing as the main course is what we did on the second night, which was a pork roast, a classic pork roast. Now I don't know if it is traditionally Slovakian, but it is from a Slovakian author, and it was so great I knew I had to do it again. And I served that with a version of drop dumplings similar to the spätzle that I made for Austria, and I believe I also made it for, I think it was Luxembourg, so I didn't want to do that a second time, or a third time in this case, but that was good. The difference in that case is it actually used cabbage, and it was fine, but I figured this time what we're going to do is that classic pork roast along with the potato pancakes. And now we need to see what go into tonight's 2 dishes.
First, for our potato pancakes, we'll need 3 large potatoes, 1 egg, salt, 1 teaspoon of marjoram, black pepper, half of a small onion, 1 to 2 cloves of garlic, 1 tablespoon of flour, and oil for frying. And then for our classic pork roast, we'll need 2 3/4 pound pork tenderloins, silver skin removed, 3 shallots chopped, 2 bay leaves crumbled, 1½ teaspoons of salt, a generous amount of fresh ground pepper, 3/4 of a teaspoon of ground allspice, 3/4 of a teaspoon of ground ginger, and then for the sauce, half a cup of freshly squeezed orange juice, a 1/4 cup of minced shallots, 3 tablespoons of light brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of minced fresh ginger, 2 whole bay leaves, 1/3 of a teaspoon of ground allspice, and more ground black pepper.
This is going to be super delicious. We need to get cooking.
Peel the potatoes and then grate them in a food processor. Place the grated potatoes in a colander over a bowl. Press the water out using a smaller bowl. Repeat until most of the water has been expressed. Move the grated potatoes to a bowl. Grate the half onion into the bowl. Grate the garlic cloves into the bowl. Add in the egg, the marjoram. Season with salt and pepper, add in the flour, and mix together. After a few moments, express the water again, heat the oil in a large skillet over medium-high heat, and once shimmering, add the potato mixture 2 tablespoons at a time. Use the back of a spoon to flatten them out. In batches, fry each side for about 4 minutes until each side gets dark brown, and drain on a paper towel-lined plate. Preheat the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, then into a small bowl place the shallots, bay leaves, salt, allspice, and ginger. Mix together, add generous amounts of pepper, and combine. Rub the mixture onto the pork, set the pork on a rack in a roasting pan, and roast the pork until a thermometer inserted into the center registers 150 degrees Fahrenheit, approximately 25 minutes, although ours took a good deal longer. Once the meat is cooked, remove and let rest for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, prepare the sauce. In a small saucepan, combine the orange juice, minced shallot, whole bay leaves, light brown sugar, minced fresh ginger, ground allspice, and season it with pepper. Simmer until the sauce is slightly syrupy, about 10 minutes. Move the pork to a cutting board and slice into pieces. Plate servings of the meat, spoon the sauce over the meat, plate the potato pancakes alongside, dress with dollops of sour cream, wipe plates and serve.
How'd that all turn out? It was phenomenal. It was so delicious. I loved it. It was one of those dishes that's tasted like it was, even better than I'd get at a restaurant, especially that pork roast. But we'll get back to that in a second, because first we need to talk about those potato pancakes. Like I said, I had screwed up potato pancakes before, but the idea of squeezing out all the water and doing that twice really did make the difference, because they tasted really great. Using the cast iron skillet, unlike the previous times, actually did make that just the right temperature. They weren't raw, they weren't burnt, it was just right, and I loved it. My only complaint is with my own thing is that I should have kept them warm in terms of eating them, because they would have been better that way. And so those get 4 out of 5 globes. And now we need to talk about that pork roast. That was one of the best things ever. I need to have company over just so I can serve that, because it is so, so good. The combinations of the flavors and the spices and the ginger just was really great, and it was very nice and juicy and tender, just the right temperature. And that orange ginger sauce was the best. It was so, so good. That is the perfect combination. I know I over-reduced the sauce a little bit because I was kind of a bit distracted, but still it was so good. It had that really nice spicy bite from the ginger and the sweetness from the orange. I can't recommend that highly enough. That pork roast gets 5 out of 5 globes. Really try it yourself. You'll thank me later. So that does it for here in Slovakia, but next time we go south to have the food of Slovenia. See you then. And remember, if you'd like to be advised when these videos are posted, please be sure to follow us on Periscope. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Like and subscribe if you'd like to be advised when these videos are posted, and be sure to hit that bell to get those notifications. Remember, links to the original recipes can be found in the About section. If you have any thoughtful feelings or helpful suggestions about the food we're eating, please be sure to sound off in the comments. Thanks for watching, and happy eating!